Welcome to CRT Farm, Sumbak Farm. We are here to do an edition on vaccination. We are taking blood samples so we can take to the lab. We come to take the blood samples of the different goats. We have to take the blood from the main vein. So the blood we are putting in 2 test tubes. Take them to Unza. We're going to take them to Unza just to make sure that these goats are disease free. And we've been having an outbreak of anthrax. We want to make sure that the goat is vaccinated. Test the goats so we can complete the vaccination.
Come to yet again an edition where we'll be looking at goat production, and this time around we tend to focus on vaccination program in goat production. Okay, so to take you through this short or brief training, my name's Dr. Augustine Nkata. Okay, so goat farming is it's actually one of the lucrative business that any farmer or any person that wants to venture into livestock production should actually think of. Okay, why do we say so? It's because one, the advantages that you are going to get actually by engaging in goat farming is that goats are naturally resistant to a lot of diseases. Okay, if you compare goats and cattle, there are diseases that actually affect cattle, diseases like tick-borne diseases. Okay, these will not affect goats in the same way that they do affect cattle. Okay, so if you are going to be a goat farmer, it means that you'll be very fortunate because the goats that you are going to keep will actually resist these type of diseases that actually affect cattle, the tick-borne diseases. Diseases like corridor disease, heart water, anaplasmosis, and babesiosis. Okay, these are the tick-borne diseases right now, okay, especially here in Zambia, that are ravaging cattle keeping farmers. Okay, but amongst the goat farmers, you realize that these are minimal. They're actually experiencing minimal cases of these diseases. Okay, so because goats naturally are resistant to diseases, you realize that you'll be spending less, okay, in terms of trying to treat your animals, okay, thereby you are saving and maximizing on the profits, okay. But goats being animals, just like any other animals, as much as we've mentioned the aspect of disease resistance, it does not mean that they don't get sick, okay, so they do get sick. So it is important then, as a person who wants to engage in goat farming or as a farmer, to know a little bit, about vaccinations in goats. Okay, so some of the questions that may be going on at the back of your mind. When do you vaccinate goats, and why is it important to vaccinate goats? Okay, so maybe even before I go really deep into this issue of vaccination, I really want to mention to you farmers out there, because I have a passion for farmers. Okay, I know that for my profession to exist personally, I exist because farmers exist. So there is this mutual relationship or coexistence between me as a veterinarian and as a farmer. If a farmer fails in their business, it means I don't have pay and I don't put food on my table. So I take this as my personal responsibility to make sure that I educate you farmers in terms of how you can maximize the profits on your farm. And one of the ways that you can actually do this is through disease prevention strategies, and vaccination is actually one of the disease prevention strategies. But what I want to mention is that you must get it right on your genetics as a farmer, because if your genetic selection, okay, for your goats, the breed that you get is very good, okay, it means that you have already succeeded in terms of 50%, okay, in your goat business, okay. But if you get it wrong on your genetics, no matter how good your nutrition is going to be, no matter how good your management is going to be, okay, you will not achieve anything. You will achieve very less or very little. Okay, this is why my emphasis today, in as much as we are talking on vaccination, I want to really emphasize that the number one thing that you must consider before you go into goat production is the issue of genetic quality. Gene quality, you must get it right. Okay, once you have the genetic selection well done, it means that you pushing in your good management as also a good plan of nutrition. These will just be additives, okay, to ensure that your goats actually thrive more, and then you realize more profits on your farm. Okay, so now getting back to the questions that we asked earlier on, the issue of when do you want to vaccinate your goats and why is it important that you should vaccinate your goats. Okay, so we say that goats, just like any other animals, they are prone to diseases. Okay, in as much as there's an aspect of natural ability to resist infection, but they are animals and they have blood. That means that they are susceptible to infection. So how do you prevent these diseases? This is where now the issue of vaccinations comes in. Okay, so the reason why you want to actually vaccinate your goats is simply because you want to prevent certain diseases. Okay, you want to prevent certain diseases, you want to prevent certain disease outbreaks on your farm. Okay, we know that these diseases, once they ravage your farm, okay, you are going to incur losses, okay, and then it can even bring down your business. Okay, so you don't want this to happen. Okay, so now when you vaccinate your goats, okay, so I'll try to push in so many aspects in trying to answer that question. Okay, so there are so many vaccines that are actually available, okay, that you can use to vaccinate your goats, okay, or so many diseases that your goats can suffer, okay, and to that effect, there are so many vaccines that you can use to actually vaccinate your goats. Okay, now these vaccines, they are biological products, okay, and they are manufactured in the lab. Okay, the process of manufacturing, okay, requires that research is done. Apart from research, materials have to be acquired. So you find that the product, okay, that comes as a vaccine has a price attached to it. Okay, so vaccination is not is not free. Okay, vaccination comes with a cost. Okay, so yes, there is this narration that goes to say prevention is actually better than cure, because we all know that once we engage in preventive measures, we are already actually managing the cost of production, operational cost on the farm. Okay, because we know that trying to treat a disease is actually more costly compared to prevention, and vaccination is actually part of prevention. But I want to put it on record here to you, the farmers out there, that these vaccinations are not actually free. Okay, they are not actually free. There's a cost to the vaccines, and a lot of vaccines that you must give to your goats. Okay, but it is important for you to know what diseases can actually affect your goats, okay, depending on the locality of your goats, okay, depending on which region your goats are found. There are certain diseases that are prevalent in that particular region, so you must have an understanding, and you can only have this understanding if you engage a profession like myself, a vet, okay, who can enlighten you on certain diseases that are common in your area, okay, so that you don't do, things, anyhow, okay. You need to be precise, you need to be a smart farmer, so you need to engage a vet who will be able to enlighten you on diseases that are common in your area, and by so doing you realize that you will not be wasting a lot of money by buying certain vaccines that are not actually of importance on your farm. Okay, I hope that is actually very clear and is helping you, okay, as farmers, because all what we want is to ensure that you increase your margins of profitability on your farms, okay, and that as a nation we are able to attain economic independence. This is the reason why we are giving you this information free of charge, okay, so that you are enlightened, you practice smart farming, okay. In this age, you don't do business as usual. You need to do business with knowledge, okay, so that you will be able to minimize, okay, your costs of production, and also you will be able to maximize, in terms of resources, and ensure that your yields in terms of profits on the higher side. Okay, so therefore through what I've just narrated, that it's not just any vaccine that you give to your goat, in as much as it is indicated for your goats, okay. So you need to know what vaccines are important for your goats, okay. You need to know what vaccines are important for your goats, okay. This will help you in terms of managing your costs on the farm, okay. And then the other thing that you are supposed to know as a farmer is that these vaccines are biological products. Being biological products means that they are sensitive to temperature, okay. They are supposed to be subjected to certain ideal environments for them to remain viable, okay. I've come across so many farmers, okay, who have had disease outbreaks on their farms, okay, and yet when I ask them certain pertinent questions, they'll tell me that they vaccinated their goats, okay. But now the question that we ask is what went wrong, okay, because if this farmer vaccinated their goats properly, okay, they should not be having this disease condition. But what went wrong? Probably it's in the manner in which they actually handled that vaccine, okay. This is why we are emphasizing on this platform to say that these vaccines are supposed to be handled, with care, okay, because they are biological products, they are very sensitive, okay. So you are supposed to handle them, especially that they are sensitive to temperature. So you are supposed to handle them within a certain temperature range. Okay, so whenever you go to a pharmacy or an agrochemical shop to buy these vaccines, it means you must be prepared. At least ensure that you carried a cooler box and some ice packs with you, okay, so that you preserve these biological products. Okay, and then your animals, okay, these the goats, okay, vaccination can be given either to young goats, okay, or to adult goats, okay, but just to narrow it down a little bit more to the young goats, okay. So young goats, when they are born, that the first few hours or minutes of being born, okay, you as a farmer, you or your caretaker on the farm, okay, the one in charge of animal husbandry on the farm, is supposed to ensure that those young ones actually suckle from their mothers, okay. They get that first milk, which we call colostrum, okay. That is very rich in what we call maternal antibodies. These are antibodies or molecules that will be biological molecules that will be able to actually protect these young ones within their few days on earth or being born, okay, from disease causing agents. So there is that immunity which these young ones actually get from their mothers. You cannot substitute that immunity. It is very important that you just ensure that the young goats get this milk, which is going to provide them with that first defense mechanism against disease-causing agents. Okay, do not expect that the vaccines that you are going to give are going to do that job for you. No. Okay, it is very important that your goats circle that colostrum, because it has this special place in their livelihood. Okay, so now that they have gotten that colostrum, okay, it means they have this, okay, short-lived, defense system against disease-causing organisms. Okay, so by short-lived, meaning at a certain point, you need to now come in with your vaccines, okay, so that you boost that immune system, okay, and which will be able now to last longer, okay, even maybe for a year or two, okay, depending on the strength of the vaccines that you are actually giving. Okay, so most of these vaccines actually, they have different indications, okay, but on average, okay, you find that it will be indicated that you are supposed to vaccinate your young goats, okay, somewhere around 3 months of age, okay, because it is somewhat a well-known fact that by this time, that protection which they got from their mother will start, reducing in their system, okay, because what you don't want is to have a situation where you are now giving these young goats the vaccine, okay, at a time when their maternal, the protection from their mother is still active in the system, because this protection from the mother now, it's going to recognize that vaccine which you are giving as a foreign, substance, and it's going to destroy that particular vaccine, what we call neutralization. Okay, so you don't want this neutralization to happen. Okay, this is the reason why you should be very careful to read actually on the label of these vaccines that you buy from these agrochemical shops, because they will indicate to say this vaccine you need to give it at this particular time. So in relation or with regard to the maternal antibodies that these young goats would have received from their mother. So that is a very important aspect. Okay, then the other thing that you want to know about these vaccines are there are different routes of administration. Okay, there are different routes of administration. Okay, so others they will indicate according to the label that you actually inject them in the muscle. Okay, others they will indicate that you inject them under the skin. Okay, so it's important for you to follow these instructions that are given on the label on the vaccine. This is the reason why we are saying it's important that you actually closely associate with the vet, because the vet will be able to explain to you what type of vaccine you are supposed to give at what particular time, but also they will be able to guide you in terms of what route and how those vaccines are given, because you also don't want to give that vaccine, you push it in a wrong route, okay, and because you've done that, you find that that vaccine is not going to elicit any immune reaction, or it's not going to work at the end of the day. It means that you as a farmer, you'd have wasted your money, okay, and this is what we are trying to avoid by giving you this presentation, that we don't want your money to go to waste. We want every pen that you spend on your animals to actually go towards the productivity and profitability of your goat production. Okay, so there is so much that we can talk about just around vaccination, but I do hope that this piece of information that we have given to you has helped you, okay, and will go a long way in ensuring that your productivity at your farm is actually improved. Okay, you actually improve in terms of preventing certain diseases on your farm, minimizing certain disease outbreaks on your farm. Okay, and for as long as you are able to prevent these diseases, we know that it means that your numbers of goats are increasing, and if you can get the numbers, we know that even your sales will be higher and your profits will also be higher. Thank you very much. Once again, my name is Dr. Augustine Kata, and I wish you a pleasant day. Thank you.